Welcome to it. So, we're gonna ramble again, like always. Today, you finished your. You're gonna go into Revelations next week, right? Yeah. In that
Yeah.
piece, okay. And I'm gonna start that Bible study series pretty soon. It's so much fluff through it and all that I have to cut through. But today we're gonna talk about some stupid stuff that we've been goofing off with. Originally, this, like I say, this started just because we were seeing so many people being deceived by stuff, and when the rapture thing hit with Mr. Joseph from Africa, we were like, okay, we got to do this, and so we started putting it together and pushing things forward. And we know there's a lot of deceit being pushed out, and we're hearing about a whole lot of stuff that's coming up. Everybody's jumping on board with the Israel, wars with Israel, and Israel taking over America, and Israel doing this, that, and the other, which it's going to be the nightmarish beast that it is. So it's going to go through.
I mean, if you think about it, if the whole world does go against Israel, there has to be a reason for it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so if it's all they're meddling into everybody else's
that
country,
that's what's coming to light. I'm thinking because originally you're like, okay, it's a little tiny area. It's like what, a few million people,
size of New Jersey.
size of Jersey, 9 million people in it. I think it is. Why would you? Yeah, it's not
I
very
don't remember.
big.
I don't remember how
It's
many.
very big. Excuse me, it's not big at all.
I think it's like 9-10 million people.
Yeah, and it's like why would you have reason to hate them? They're nothing. They're tiny nobodies. Their science are great. The medical advances that they've come up with are phenomenal. But if they were in charge of Epstein, if they're in charge of now, they're stating that our government hid and did not allow anybody to investigate Israel in any way, shape, or form for Charlie Kirk. Shut it all down.
Yeah,
You're not looking at that way for
That
Charlie
sounds
Kirk.
about right.
Yeah, and so that's going to make a lot of Americans go, "Excuse me."
We give them 3.8 billion every year. They
Nine-
have free health care
9 million people.
for their citizens. They have free education, free college on our dime.
Wow.
We don't have it, but they got it.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're tiny like that and you can just borrow all you need from somebody else, not even borrow.
I mean, they're like, and the whole guise is, well, they're our only ally in the Middle East. I'm like, we make trades with Saudi Arabia all the time.
Yeah. I mean, we
All
need
the
to-
time.
Well, here you go. Fix that. I
Yeah.
mean, they love money, so we have that. I mean, we can,
I mean, really.
it's-
But I mean,
It's-
every country in the Middle East hates our guts, including Israel.
correct. Yeah.
I mean, they
Israel's
really do.
Not, yeah.
I mean,
Israel's not a fan. It's not.
Everyone's jealous of our country for the resources,
Yeah.
the pure land mass.
And the people of Israel may love America. I don't know. The only ones I follow, of course, are Israeli Christians. They're Messianic Jews, and I've listened to a few Orthodox ones, but after a while, there's no point listening to them really.
Yeah.
And so, I just don't. The government is what I can't stand, but any government I can't stand, especially our own. Virginia is passing laws now that are on gun control based laws, and they're making it to where if they get them going through, they're doing assault gun bans, of course, but they're looking at making it to where your guns cannot be in your cars. You cannot have a gun locked in your car. They want people leaving their guns at home. They don't want them. They have They have a whole area of the cities that are sectioned off. There are no gun zone type situations. They're trying to get it to where people are no longer carrying guns.
Yeah, and I hope they keep the word assault rifle in the law.
They will, so they can broaden it to whatever they want. That's
Yeah,
the
so that's
problem.
the thing though, is you can get past that by saying my rifle hasn't assaulted anyone yet.
See, again, you're looking at a judge who's being bought and paid for by whoever, so they're going
Supreme
to do
Court's
what they
gonna
want.
back you up sooner or later.
Yeah, if you can get there.
Like this is not an assault rifle. It's like saying
It's not constitutional anyways.
it's like saying assault bazookas aren't allowed.
Yeah, well, it's
Does that mean I can have a bazooka?
is it a
As long as I
Carolina?
don't assault anybody with it?
Oh shoot, there's a state they're trying to get machine guns. A law banning a law lifting the ban on machine guns, and I want to say it's one of the Carolinas. I don't have it off the top of my head.
Sounds like Missouri, if anything.
And they need it, but it's. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense to me. I don't understand why that was ever a thing.
Well, they got the new red flag law. Have you heard of that?
That's old, right? That's from his first term, Trump's first term.
No,
Yeah, Trump did red flag in his first term. Yeah, it's really
they're still voting on it now, though.
Oh, I'm sure they're still fighting through it because
All it
they
takes
had
is
to
an
write
anonymous
it.
phone call.
Yeah,
anonymous
that's
phone
it.
call saying that you're a threat to your family, and
That's
they
it.
can come in and confiscate your
Yes,
weapons.
they can. Yeah,
I was like, who's gonna be the brave one that does that?
and if you
It's
yeah,
like,
for
you
real,
better bring a tank.
What a dumb cop, right? Yeah, that
Yeah.
cop's like, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
But and if you have the real ID, the star on your identification, so if your driver's license has that little star for the real ID on it, they can take it no matter what. They can talk. They can search. They can stop you no matter where you are and search you without any probable cause, or whatever. That was part of the thing that was underlined in there that was hidden, so to speak.
Yeah.
I was watching somebody who's going through all the regulations of that. They're saying this is the scariest thing that we've ever done to our citizens. Like, it's bad. And the idea is, oh, we're going to find the bad guys and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, what when the bad guys are in authority and they're wanting to find
I didn't understand
whomever.
what the star was either. I didn't understand
That's
what
the real
point of it
ID.
was.
That's
Like,
that's
I
the permission of the real
heard of
ID.
it,
And there's
I
a
didn't
whole
understand
set.
the purpose of it.
It was to protect people and look for bad guys concept, just like they do with everything that they've passed that's backfired on American citizens. And so when you go through them all, and I don't remember them all because it wasn't something we were kind of talking about, but they are really in depth, and you give up a lot of rights.
Yeah.
You just give up a lot of rights, and it's like, well, you signed this, or you paid for this basically. You pay like an extra bit for it or something. I don't know, but it's not good.
Eventually they'll cross the line, and then people will get upset. And start murdering. Because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take violence to get them to stop.
I realized the other day, I was like, it's been a while since I bought any rounds, so I went and picked up a few rounds.
Yeah.
I almost bought. It's still in the back of my mind. It was a wheel gun, 45 caliber wheel gun.
45 long Colt?
It was not. It's not a long Colt. It's a
45 ACP?
No. This is a old cowboy gun, and it's part of it's a gear.
So it's a long Colt, 45 long Colt.
No. What this is this is a lower. It's a high brand. Let me see if I can find the previous conversation I had on it. It's a Stoger 40. I'm sorry, I lied to you. It's a Stoger 45 Colt revolver.
Yeah, long Colt.
It's not a long Colt though.
That is the type of bullet. It's not a 45 ACP that you're.
Okay, it wasn't an extended. I was thinking of an extended barrel type. So, the longer barrel.
Yeah, I mean, just the bullet is a long Colt.
Yeah, but it was the reason I didn't grab it was because it was the spring release for the rounds on it.
Was it a single action or double?
It's single action spring release. Yeah.
Okay. You didn't like that, or
I loved it. I did, but I wanted one that I could speed load.
Oh, okay. You want to?
It's the one you pop each. You'll pop each shell out.
I don't
and
know
then
if they make a 45 in a.
If they make a 44 Magnum, that does it because that's what Dad's does.
Yeah, they make the 38 Special, 357, and 44.
So the guy that I watch,
I think 45 long Colts are usually single action. I think. Well, the judge is a double action. And
well, those are very new though. These are, like I say, these are older guns that I'm looking towards. Yeah. So you're right for that kind. And that was another thing too for what I want to do with it because I want to learn how to speed shoot. That's one of I've always loved speed shooting, the idea of it, and I used to play around with the 22s. But the one that I had is really stiff. It's that old 1950s one that Dad had. He still has. He had two of them. He had a silver one and he had that black one.
You have one too, though, right?
I have a single action
22
snub nose 22.
That thing's so cool.
The barkeeper,
yeah.
the barkeep, yeah.
Barkeep.
That's a heritage. Yeah, it's it's new. It's only a few years out. People were buying them to give them as gifts because they came in a kit with like shot glass and a flask and they had the gun in it and different. Yeah. And I do like that gun. It's a lot of fun to shoot. It's good for the kids too. It's a single one.
Speed shooting's a lot cheaper when you're shooting 22s.
Well, I wanted a 22, and they had a couple of them that were there, but I didn't feel like they were strong enough that they wouldn't. They'd fall apart. They were like if you're buying a 22 revolver and it's $120, it's like I don't know. I'm not sure about that. So, but they do need to be modified for speed shooting down the road, anyways. So a typical speed shooting revolver, it starts in the 1200s for a good one. There's a guy who I was following. It was like, he had like 2,000 or 3,000 followers when I was watching him. He's up to 780 or something like that now, 780,000. And he'll put 3 rounds into a target in a second and a half.
That's cool.
If that. And I was like, oh, people still do this? I was like, okay. And then there's the guys, and I'll find them. There's the speed shooters that are I don't remember if I said I'll find it. These guys lean back.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's so fast, it's insane.
It's weird looking.
It looks as all the way back. Dorky as can be.
Yeah. But
they're shooting at a millisecond kind of a thing.
Like, Somebody told me that they're not shooting bullets, that they're actually shooting clay bullets.
Because of where it's at, that might be a thing. Because, like I say, it's so fast. There's a lot of room for error. These guys shoot so quick. What is this? Anyway, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't planning on talking about this, and so I didn't. But I took the old man in and got him a Hellcat.
So did he get a tan one, a black one?
No, it was a black one. Yeah, he had.
Did he get the Hellcat or Hellcat Pro?
No, he didn't like the Pro. I think the grip was too small for him.
They have the same grip. Just one has a 3/4 inch longer barrel.
I don't remember then. We looked through quite a few that were there. He was trying to decide between. He liked the Kimber's trigger pull, but didn't like the way the Kimber felt. And that was the poly Kimber.
Kimbers are so. I didn't know Kimber had a poly.
Yeah, that was
cool.
that was the first time I see it too. I was like, that's weird. And then it may not have a break-in process.
They're made in Alabama now.
Yeah, I told him too. That's why I said it's funny because of the store. I was like, this is from Troy. This ain't that Yonkers crap that was falling apart towards the last couple of years that they were making guns.
Oh, really?
People's guns were rotting out and they were just falling apart. And
really,
and Kimber they wouldn't do anything about it.
Oh, that's sad.
And it was during COVID time frame when the plague hit. They were just making crappy firearms. And so nobody bought a gun from that era. Like they were like, we're not buying a Kimber from you from that era. It's sort of spread.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and I talked to two people who had that problem. And I was talking to a gun store person who said, yeah, he's heard it. And so, but they're all in Troy now. And so I said, this one will be solid. Everybody there was like, yeah, it will be.
Yeah, I think the only thing they didn't move down here was the concealed carry pistols. Those are still made in Yonkers, unless they've moved them by now.
Yeah, I think it's all in Troy now. I think
because they didn't have the machinery.
They were being regulated so bad. It's probably just a matter of time for them to do it then, because they were being regulated so bad in New York. They had to get out. They had to leave.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine the cost of doing business there.
With Mom Donnie there now, they've added 20 new gun laws in the time frame he's been there. 20 new gun laws.
How can you,
in New York?
Like, how many gun laws can you possibly have? Like, there's only so many things you can say about a gun. Like, it only has one purpose.
Whatever they can do to slow you down. Whatever they can do to be non-constitutional.
Anything they can do to make your life hell in courtroom, basically.
That's it.
You're going to regret.
You're not going to want to go to court.
Yourself.
Absolutely.
Bankrupt you. Basically.
Absolutely.
You won't go to jail, but you'll lose all your livelihood.
Yeah. You'll hate life.
But again, that only gets solved with violence.
Yeah, it needs to get to that point before it gets so bad that it's everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. They killed Charlie Kirk. Somebody killed him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a little transvestite either.
No, it wasn't that poor kid that they've got locked down for whatever reason. I feel bad for him now. To him? No.
Not either.
Oh, his trials are starting now. Like his pre. Oh no, it's May is when the trials start, I believe. Pre-trials were like March, and then I think
they're gonna put him in a mental institution. He's not gonna see.
Oh, he won't see. No, because they've got nothing. They've got nothing on him. They don't.
If anything, he's gonna be like, prove that I did it.
Yeah.
If I would have shot him with a 30-06, there'd be nothing left of his neck.
Exactly.
I mean, he's gonna prove that he didn't do it because he didn't do it.
I just don't see how, in any way, shape, or form, him jumping on. Nothing that they said or did make sense, of course. And it was so botched. It was so badly botched that it's, even covering up the crime scene like the next day. It's like, oh, let's go concrete this whole area where, hello, excuse me. And it was allowed. So
yeah, it's such a bad cover up. Mm-hmm. But if they killed one of ours, he was one of us.
It was, the only thing he did was listen and then not regurgitate garbage. He gave you truth. He just gave, this is what really happens. This is what
rebuttals with facts.
Man, they hated him for it.
Oh, yeah.
They hated him for it.
But again, he didn't get in danger until he said, what's Israel doing?
No, that's it. Well, what they found out,
going to?
what they were talking about now was that he was the number one ear. He was the number one voice in Trump's ear regarding not going into Iran. Yeah. That was his big thing that was kind of what their main topics were. They were saying, I don't know if this is accurate. Of course, it's just what they're talking about now, because they're realizing nothing's going to come of this.
Well, he talked to Trump 2 times a week on average.
Right. Trump liked him a lot. He really did lean on him.
Dude, his wife, Candace Owens, come out with evidence that she's a lesbian.
That was something that, like, from way back when in the day, and then
it's coming out with staffers are talking about how
there's way more than that.
Sexually pervasive with them.
I think we need to look at her orphanage school thingy in Africa.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I think we need to look at that, because a long time ago it was brought up, but I thought, okay, that could be just an attack against a person doing good, because you just don't know. and Ukraine's Angels. It was in Ukraine, right?
I
It might have been part of the underground.
I think it was Ukraine, yeah.
Back in the mid '90s, we had somebody come and talk and speak about. God, it could have been. Well, she's pretty young. I mean, it wouldn't have been her, but it might have been the organization, is what I'm thinking. Anyway, this lady was working with the orphans in Ukraine, and this is a true actual thing. The orphans were shunned and seen as an eyesore, and so they were forcing them out of the cities, and they're trying to get rid of them.
Street rats.
They were basically the street rat concept, sort of like back in the old days where they were a burden kind of a deal. Yeah. So the kids were actually living in the sewers. And they would open the sewers up. This lady had they would film what they were doing because nobody had a clue. Nobody knew. We're all dumb, and we are still. But she'd open up the sewers. She'd drag the manhole cover off, and just scream down in, yell something down or wherever, and these kids would pour out of this thing, just like cockroaches coming out of a hole kind of a thing. And they'd wrap in blankets and shoes and clothes, whatever they had donated to them, and they were trying to shove food in their faces and in their pockets and all that. And everybody's just sitting there like, this is a thing? Like, we were that stupid, Yeah. Like, this is a thing? Like, this is real? And these kids are just sitting there shivering while they're trying to wrap clothes on them. They're just, they're coming out cold. And they were addicted to spray paint and adhesive glue. And so what they would do is they would spray the glue or the paint into a brown paper bag, and they would huff that to numb their hunger pains. Yeah. And these are like 6-7-year-old kids just addicted to this stuff. And so that was a big thing. Like when that happened, we raised a bunch of money, and a bunch of kids that I knew were able to go over there. They took I think one of the professors that was there took one of his classes, or he had a special projects program or something. They went or something of that nature. I can't remember, but they went and got over there. And I remember that being a big deal. And so I could see her getting caught up in that concept. But when Russia's talking about their soldiers are finding chop factories over there where they're harvesting organs and all that kind of stuff and different things with all the kids, I firmly believe it. I would 1,000% believe it, because it's so plausible nowadays. It's so believable. It wouldn't have been in the 90s. You wouldn't have even, you're like, what? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What's the point? Why would you? Who's that kind of, we didn't realize that evil had never left. It was just buried underground, so to speak.
Is there a huge demand for kid organs?
Organs, period. Yeah, on the black market.
It's not like you can put their organ in an adult, I wouldn't think.
Sell them for a fortune.
Can you put a child's kidney and it still work in your body?
You can put it in a child.
Yeah, but there can't be that many children needing organs, though.
I don't have the math on it. I don't know. But I would say... I just
don't understand.
It's a massive market. Yeah. It is a massive, massive market. $billion market. China does it like crazy.
Well, they're talking about those people in freaking Cancun who are... You know how they used to wake up in ice baths not remembering anything?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now they don't use anesthesia anymore. Now they just tie them down and do it while they're awake. Yeah. Save money. It kills them, of course, but yeah, they find people just dumped into open up the back of a tractor trailer and just full of dead bodies.
Yeah, I believe it 100%.
Yeah,
there's more money in the organs than there's
Tulsi Gabbard freaking did a testimony on it to Congress.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah.
She's like, I've seen it.
It's a huge market, and and again, it's been going on for a very long time. Very long time. Because it used to always be, they're killing animals for this or that or dumb thing. Well,
you remember when we were growing up through the 80s, everything was about what Satanists were doing in like these parks, sacrificing animals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was nothing compared to what the politicians were doing.
No, it was nothing compared to what was really going on. Yeah.
It was just a distraction.
I used to go out. We used to go out in the YTA, out in the woods, basically in Alaska. The government had property out there, and we would go out and put up signs and stuff. They would need us to replace signs that had been aged and such. And it was just kind of like warning signs of, hey, we blow stuff up out here. Don't go this way, kind of a concept, Don't go here. And we'd always find these Wiccan like they'd take branches and make like upside down. They'd make upside down crosses and upside down stars and
like a Dreamcatcher style.
It would just be on the ground. It would be laying on the ground, and it'd be an open area that faces where the sun would be coming up or setting or whatever kind of a concept. I have no idea, but I could see that it's a big, beautiful. I mean, we're in gorgeous, it's a beautiful area. And I'm like, you hiked all the way out here just to do your little witches seance-y thing, that kind of a deal. Whatever tree hurt you. they're finding out that even the tree Wiccans, even the tree nature wizardy witches and all that, are some of the most. They're up in the same category. They're
Really?
just as bad. They're just as bad. Yeah.
Man.
I watched a video on it yesterday. I had to stop watching. I was like, this is just getting me too mad. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I used to have a bit of a thing for digging into the Masons because I noticed that
It's too much. Way too much.
yeah. Well, I noticed that there was just a lot of them, and yet they never advertise or anything.
Correct.
And they come search you out, kind of a thing.
They come. Yeah, you don't go.
You can apply for them, and
Yeah.
you pay your dues, and you keep paying dues until they accept
For
your
years.
application, kind of a thing. But I knew one person who was personally in it.
I knew a
And
group of them.
He was an older gentleman, and I tried to ask him about it, and he was very tight-lipped. And so finally I asked him, I was like, if your son wanted to become a Mason, does he have an in? Like, or does he have to work for it? Like what would you say if your son wanted to be a Mason? And he goes, he thought about it for a bit, and he goes, I would probably try to talk him out of it.
Yeah.
But if he got in, I'd shake his hand. And that's all he said.
Yeah.
And I never knew what it meant, and he never explained it, and I didn't push him.
Yeah.
Because I was already kind of pushing my luck, asking him questions as it was. Because I was just like, what do you guys do? He goes,
Yeah. So I had a friend. I met it was
What's
a
the
group. We were having this massive Garrison event where we would open up the doors. It was Cherry Blossom Festival. It was not a lot of work for me in that one area, but it was a lot of work for, there's 30,000 people coming on the base. And it's a small, tiny base, but they're all Japanese, so nobody cares. It's like, hey, they're fine. We can just leave them. They don't do nothing. They're amazing, So, but they had food, and the Japanese, these Japanese guys would be walking out with like as many pizzas as they could carry. I swear, stacked 10 high. The pizzas were $10 for a large, and they're just,
Yeah.
they would take them off base and they would just sell them like crazy to anybody out there, and make a fortune. And so the food was the big pull. They wanted they'd have the helicopter out there and the games. We ran a bunch of games, but where I was at, we did a fundraiser where we had buses and we would drive the people would come on the back gate area, and it was a bit of a walk to where the event really kind of the heart of the event. And so we would drive them to that, and it just pay like $1, a yen, a buck. And so, or 100 yen. And so, we kind of stayed in our little area. We just drove back and forth, but it was an all day. It's like a 12-hour day. My teens would be there collecting the money, and then we'd have them on shifts. They'd come and go, and they'd just do their thing, and the staff and I would drive and all that. And so part of the food that was out there was a big barbecue pit out there, and one of my employees was out there, and he was part of it was like a Black Freemasons chapter that was over there, and I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know there were. I was like in my head going, "Oh, so you're segregated?" I didn't understand, or is it just something that they did on their own? I didn't know. I
don't know either.
But I asked him. I was like, "Wait a minute." I was like, "You're a Freemason?" He's like, "Not yet, but I'm hoping." And I was like, "You're one of my employees, right?" And this guy gave up a full track scholarship to take care of his mother. His dad died. His mother got really sick, and he had to stay home to take care of him. This dude was a monster on the track. He was teaching on the side all the kids that were running track at the high school there, and he was doing great work. Like they were very pleased that he was there because it's a Dodge system. There's not, but so this dude's an athlete. He's a clean, sharp guy, real clean cut, smart dude. His wife was the soldier. He was just following her around. And I was like, oh, I really need to get you off to the side and talk with you a little bit and find out. But he had applied. They had, I think what it was, he had friends who were Masons, and they kind of approached him about it because he was in the area. And, there's not a whole lot in that little tiny area because there was only maybe about 10 of them there. And, so he had applied, and he was just kind of doing his time. You sort of apply, and then they play with you for a couple of years to see if you're worth it, kind of a deal before they bring you in, because it's a very don't talk about it society kind of concept. But that was like the extent of me meeting anybody in it.
On a lower level, because I went on this deep dive on all the cults. Like I was really fascinated by.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Mormonism, Jehovah's Witnesses, Catholicism.
It's been a long time for that, yeah.
And then the Masons. And so on a lower level, you don't know anything. It's just a brotherhood.
Oh, correct. Yeah, you're just hanging out.
But they do help each other a ton.
Yeah.
So anything.
It's like a gang of its own kind of concept. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. So if you need plumbing done, you call a brother or whatever, and everything's a lot cheaper and whatnot. But your time is not yours, especially on a lower level. When you first join in, you get the call. You have to answer the call. You have to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Of course, they put the little things on their decals for their vehicles. So
yeah, they're basically decals. Yeah.
So everybody knows each other and they're very open.
Yeah.
I saw one guy. He was a plumber, and he had the huge gold medallion necklace or whatever. I was looking at it. I was like, "Is that like?" Because I thought he was Catholic. I was like, "Is that like an image of Mary?" He goes, "No, I'm a Mason." I'm like, I got the "Oh, it's a Mason thing." He goes, "Yeah." So how long you been in the Masons? He goes, 18 years or so. He was an older chap. And so I picked his brain because we're on the same construction site, and he was a lot more open about it. But I realized that he had been there for 18 years and hadn't climbed any rank.
Correct. People have to die for it a lot of times too.
Well, you have to be willing to take the call, and that's all he would
say.
say.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Say if you want to climb rank, he's like, you got to be willing to take the call.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, it's just that, and that's all he would say. It's basically when the phone call comes, it's yay or nay. And if it's a nay, you're staying on the lower echelon.
Yeah.
And if it's a yay, you might be able to climb rank, and it's basically that. So the higher up they go, the more responsibility you have. But not, it's like being in management. You have more responsibility, but you do less work.
Right.
So, yeah. But he just liked the brotherhood of it. He said, I love the fact that if something happens, I can make a phone call and I got help.
I mean, it's just the way the church used to be.
Yeah.
And so, like,
it's just super creepy, though.
That's just a creepier version. Yeah, that's
a really creepy.
It's like, I'm sorry, could we go into a room that's got windows that doesn't have 4 flights of stairs down?
So let me ask you something, because there's a church here in town that's this way. They are not open to the general public. Like a general public can come into the church.
It's an actual church.
It's an actual church.
It's not a home church.
No, it's an actual church. Baptist church, Reformed Baptist. I don't know what that means. They go by the.
I think it's
1765 confessional or something like that.
It's some updated stuff from
They're old school Baptist. So but they're not like the general public can come to the church.
Okay.
Right. It's not like closed doors or anything, but you can't become a member of the church. Just like any other church, it's like, hey, I want to be a member. Like, come on, be a member. Add to our numbers. This church is not that way. This church is you have to earn membership. I was gonna see how you felt about that. You think it's biblical?
Well, I think church membership is stupid, but
me too.
I see what you're saying from just the idea of it.
So things that.
Well, what are they looking for? Are they looking for flakes?
No, yeah. What they're looking for is what Peter and Paul both teach in the New Testament about what deacons are supposed to be. You can't have an elder who doesn't have control of his own family,
right?
And things like that.
Yeah,
and that's
Timothy's standards.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's what they look for. So they actually come over to your house 4 times, randomly. Like they just say, "Hey, we're gonna come over and say hi, whatever." They just stop by. They don't schedule it, and
so they want to know how you're really living.
They really want to know how you live, yeah, and they want to know if they sit down and they'll invite you over for dinner, and they'll see how your kids behave. If your kids are unruly and undisciplined, you're not going to become a member. If you don't tithe, you're not a member. Just things like that. You have to hold a job, and you have to have you have to be a good person, basically. You have to be a good Christian.
I don't feel like that's inviting per se, because you could have a person who's struggling but just loves. It's hard because I think the whole membership thing is stupid.
I agree with you on the membership thing, but at the same time, you represent that church as a member.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of for it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I didn't think about that and the idea of that one, because I'm thinking of a normal human being Christian setting.
I've always hated memberships. I always thought
I've never joined a church a day in my life.
So it's not biblical. It's not in the Bible that you have to join a membership or whatever.
Yeah, I have never even thought about joining one. I'm like, My main idea was if I'm here in 2 years, I'm happy. I'm going to be moving soon. I just know it. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing.
Anyway,
Like,
so I'm different in that idea.
In order to have a vote, you have to be a member. That way,
Correct.
You know that you're with us. I'm like, okay, but I joined a membership. I'm a member. I tithe or whatever. Some people don't even tithe. They don't care. They're just happy to have a number. And I can vote. But that doesn't mean next week I'm not going to quit.
Correct.
It's not a contract.
Yeah.
It's not like I have to stay a member.
Correct.
It's like, so really, it's
you're not locking me in anything in my mind.
Yeah, it's lip service.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tax number that you're setting up. It's kind of a thing.
If anything, you should have the rule that you attend the church regularly for 2 years and you can vote.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
Yeah,
than membership.
if I know in my heart that you've got some you've put into this in a sense, like you say, if you are showing up regularly, if you're showing up to events, that's the main thing. Like we would have Halloween events, and which I still don't know how I feel about. We would have Christmas events and all those kinds of things. And are you showing up? Are you there to help out? Not to all of them, but to what you can do. I mean, are your kids coming to programs and that kind of a thing? And that should be enough. I know. I saw Jack Hibbs' church. That's that one in California. They had to write a big old deal and went through a process to get approval because they don't have memberships. He's like, I don't want memberships. So in order to qualify tax-wise, they had to prove to them that they were a functional church or whatever, and memberships were how they would normally do that.
Yeah.
And he's like, we don't do that here. He's like, I don't ever ask people for tithes, and I don't ever do memberships. It's up to people to tithe, and it's up to people to show up or be here. I don't care about memberships. It don't mean nothing, And so I think with his church... Why can't
I find a church like that?
People don't... Yeah, we'll see again. People aren't willing to fight for that.
Though. People want it.
He had to fight for it, and people aren't willing to fight for it. They'll come... A pastor will come into a church, and it's like running this way, and he's like, okay, do we need how are we financially? That's the number one question.
Yeah.
Where are we at financially? Do we own the church? Are we still in debt? Do we need repairs? Is half the building falling apart? Does the roof need repaired? Can we afford, or do we have a way out of that? Because the pastor's not going to take a church if it's completely in the dump, if he doesn't feel completely led by the Lord to be there. You know what I mean? Like normally you would want that anyways.
I would love to have a church that had 10 really good teachers in it. And you just fluctuated, not fluctuated, but like rotated.
The problem is the church that good gets big.
Well, that's fine. Then you just branch off.
Correct. So those 10 teachers need to, and I'm 100% behind that, which needs to happen. More churches need to branch off.
Even if it did get big,
I'm trying to think when the last time I was at a church that I was just like, yeah.
I remember the last time. Oak Cliff Assembly in Texas.
Oak Cliff was great.
That dude was phenomenal.
Oak Cliff was great. Holy cow, that was a long time. Jeez, that's 25 some years ago.
That church. I only went to that church one time. I think maybe twice I went.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I only went once. And I'll never forget the experience I had there.
Trinity had a good assistant pastor, I believe it was. I did like when he spoke. I don't remember though, but I can't remember last time I was at a solid. And the thing is it's like, I know people are like, oh, well, then why don't you start one? I'm like, because I'm not really called to do so. And you really need to be called to do so because you have to deal with people.
I'm not really sure about that either, though. I'm not
no,
really sure
you have to deal with people.
Church, because a lot of churches started in a house with willing people.
No, absolutely. I'm 100% behind Bible studies. When you actually start a church, now you're dealing with people. Yeah, but you've got to be able to deal with people.
Just a group of people talking about God, right?
No. You've got to deal with stupid. Stupid comes through that door every second of the day, and you need to know how to handle it, deal with it.
Give me an example of it.
Dumb situations. I had a dude come in, or not a dude. I had a daughter and it was a wife and a mother, and I can't remember. The mother was the husband's. The husband was her son. So the wife comes in. She's got the mother-in-law. She's like, I'm pretty sure my husband's demon possessed.
Wife comes in with a mother-in-law.
With mother-in-law.
Okay.
And the mother's like, my son is demon possessed. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? What? So I'm like, oh, okay. And she starts talking about the stuff. And yes, it sounds like demon possession. It clearly does. I'm like, well, the only thing I know how to do is to send them to these preachers that are down this way because it's the only numbers I knew. I'm like, well, here's these phone numbers. Call them and talk with them and set up a time or whatever, do that kind of thing. I said, this is a mental health clinic. We'll medicate him, but that doesn't mean that we're going to exercise him. That kind of thing. This is mental health. And I said, this is like, I understand why you came here. It's a great place to start, but you kind of need you need a young priest and an old priest, I mean, you know what I mean? And the things, like you said, there was the things that she would say, but I'm like, are you trying to build a case against him for some reason? Are you making this up? I don't know. And so she ends up getting a hold of the Christian school that's around the area, which was our school. And that was Gwines. I don't know if you remember Gwines. I don't know if you were there for him. Gwines
he was there, but I never had a class with him or anything.
No, he was the president. He was in charge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I remember that douchebag.
Yeah. No. You don't remember him. No, this is a different.
No, mine was Kurt.
You were Kurt.
Kurt?
What's the frog's name?
Yeah.
Kermit.
Yeah, Kermit.
Kermit.
Yeah, I didn't like that guy.
Yeah, I didn't either. But he was better than the televangelist guy that wanted the job.
Oh, really?
The perm and the perfect purple suits and the big rings all the time.
Yes.
Sassy little type. Schaefer.
Charles Schaefer.
No. Schaefer is who they named the building out of. That was that gross preacher from Oklahoma.
Well, he also had that freaking froey hair. He looked like a mummy.
He was like 1,000 years old. Anyway, so Gwines was the real deal. That dude was like that. God wakes him up at 11 o'clock at night. He says, I need you to go to this hotel. Gets dressed, gets up. He's telling the story. And I was sitting with some of the seniors that he liked. And they loved him. He was just the greatest thing to them. He's just grandpa kind of a deal. He's an old man. And real soft spoken, real quiet. Like you had to really, the room had to be silent to hear him. He wasn't raising his voice, He would walk up to the podium when everybody was just chattering, clamoring. He just put his hand up, and everybody just dead silent, So I'm sitting there and I'm kind of in the back, and I'm like, oh, I know this guy. And he's talking. He's like, he was explaining to them something that had happened, and I think that's what it was. I caught little bits of it, because the teacher disappeared. Let's put it that way. And so he said, Lord woke me up last night, 11 p.m. or whatever day, and he told me to go to this hotel. So I got up, got dressed, and I said, I hope I'm making it on time, Lord. I'm slower these days. He's that kind of stories, Gets in his old car, Oldsmobile, whatever boat, and flies down to this hotel. And he says, go up these stairs and knock on this door. Goes upstairs, knocks on the door, and this woman answers. And he says, ma'am, the Lord told me to come here, and his teacher's in there, committing adultery with this woman.
Oh, my.
He says... He didn't know why, of course, obviously, while he was going there. He says, now I know. He says, you're fired. He turns around and walks away. He just leaves. And so he was explaining that was why the teacher had disappeared over. And this was a guy who many times, he got the school out of debt, completely 100% out of debt in the time frame he was there. And they were massively in debt. And, but he did a lot of, he was just a lot of that kind of stuff. The Lord would just use him for all kinds of stuff like that. He was just a great guy. And so he calls me on the phone. Because they went and made an appointment with him because, he's the president of the school. So they're going to make an appointment with the best of the kind of the concept, I guess. And he goes, Adam, why are these guys calling me and talking to me? I said, wait, what? Huh? What? What are you talking about? He's like, you sent these guys over to me. I said, no, I gave them phone numbers, but I didn't send them to anybody. Let's just send them to other professionals next time because I ain't got time for these kind of fools. I'm thinking she was just trying to build some case against her husband and they're trying to do something. I don't know, But it was just you deal with stupid. Stupid comes on knocking on your door all the time. You got to just
tell them to bonk off.
You got to be able to deal with money smartly. You got to be able to put a good board together and know how to work with your board.
Again, this is all just stuff you do at work every day.
No, not if you're some Joe Schmo wrench monkey who's starting a Bible study.
I get that, but if you work in any kind of customer service or management, you deal with that every day.
You got to be on cue. You got to be spending time
with people.
You got to be spending time with the Lord. You've got to have a very regular, solid routine with the Lord, and you've got to be at peace about it. You have to be at peace about it.
But we're all called to have that too. We're all called.
Correct.
To
Well, I think you're all called to seek it and then find out where you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to do.
I'm just not so convinced because it seems like everybody is equipped because God's in charge.
Correct. Everybody could be if they followed those. But see, they're not. We just talked about leather pants chick yesterday. Yeah. Worth millions, and the old guy who has 2 planes and they're griping about him getting a third.
Yeah.
What pastor needs 3 planes and a hangar and a fueling station?
What I'm saying is, like, look at Midian. when God in the Old Testament, God called Midian to lead his army.
Okay.
It's the one with the clay pots.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
His army of 300.
Yeah.
Well, he started out with 25,000. But when he first called Midian, Midian's like, I'm the weakest chief of the smallest tribe, the Benjamites. And
he didn't say, Lord, I don't serve you, or I don't follow you properly.
Well, he didn't though. He didn't serve the Lord properly. No, that's why his clan was so small. He was a coward. He ran and hid anytime there was a fight. He ran and hid in the wine press.
Yeah.
And then when God calls him, he says, okay, God, I'm going to lay out this sheepskin. And if there's dew on top,
that's right,
and not on bottom,
yeah.
right? And then the next day, it's that way. And he goes, okay, Lord, I'm going to flip it over this time.
That's right.
Right? He did everything wrong. And it's
that's true.
God has a will.
Well, he's terrified. Yeah, I see.
He's a coward.
He was a coward. Yeah.
And
cowardice
God bless
is not.
him. If you really think about that story, starting out with 25,000 men to go against over 100,000 men,
right?
Is those dudes were brave to show up. Right? Those 25,000, if you think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
They know they're walking into death.
Yep.
When God cuts them down to 300, you know those dudes were the baddest mamma jammas ever. Yeah, those guys were like...
They were ironclad then, yeah.
Yeah, I don't care if I die.
They were honed.
I'm going to be wearing their face when I die, on my face. So I'm going to have a necklace of earrings, or of ears. And then when he goes, hey, we're not taking any weapons. Huh?
Yeah.
It's like, get that pot, fill it halfway with oil, and grab a torch. And then we're going to climb the mountains. Like, okay. We're going to climb a mountain. This is good. That means they have to climb up here to get us. They'll give us a chance to throw rocks or something, right? You're like, no. You're just going to crack the pots and yell.
Sit and yell.
Light them on fire and yell. God doesn't need you to do all the right things. He doesn't need you to have a routine set down where you're just...
I think the heart needs to be in the right place, though.
I don't think so. The only place your heart needs to be is willing. I believe.
I think willing to serve. It needs to be there.
Willing to serve God.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we're all called to do.
Okay.
If you're willing to be like, you know what, God? If this is what you want, buddy.
Dude, we're not starting a church, are we?
I'm just saying we already are a church right now, just me and you.
Yeah.
Right? As long as there's 2 or more gathered together.
I come 1,000% behind doing a Bible study. I wouldn't be okay
church,
with that. And it is church. No, that's
church.
what I'm saying. It is a...
Think about it. You find some... I mean, worship is worship.
That's where all the good churches start. I will say that.
Churches start with real, authentic desire. People are wanting to hear what... Because a lot of people aren't equipped to read the Word of God. Like, educationally. They either dyslexia or they get lost in the confusion. And a lot of people aren't nerds like us, where we're actually looking at the culture of the people of 3,000 years ago to understand what does this actually mean. Like, for instance, Noah. After the flood and they receded and they get out of the ark, it says Noah gets drunk. And then his youngest brother, Ham, goes into this tent and he comes out and he tells his brothers,
he's naked. I
saw our father's nakedness.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what that actually means... It's not that he saw his dad without clothes on. It means he had a sexual encounter with either his father or his mother or both.
Yeah. The newest thing I heard was or both. I originally had heard it was either the father or mother.
Average person has no clue. They're not Bible nerds because that's not their desire.
I've never heard or both, though. I didn't think about that. Yeah. Unless I haven't.
Could be a tryst.
Yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah.
So I mean, it's things like that people are searching for. They really want true, actual knowledge. And then there's people like us who get excited about reading stuff like this. And like, I can't tell you how many hours of podcasts I've listened to on just Bible nerds talking about weird things that don't really pertain to salvation, obviously. It's just, I have a desire to know more about God and His Word and whatnot.
I have considered going to a church that I knew wasn't functioning throughout the week and just saying, hey, can you don't know me, I'm a nobody, but we'd like to open up your doors one day a week and just offer a Bible study or something, because as a pastor you're not doing it, so I mean, I thought, okay, that might be a little bit nobody's going to be open to that.
Well, that's the other thing. Churches that don't change, they fall, right? So you got to change with the times. So look at today. There's no such thing as radio. There's no radio shows anymore. There's like there's a morning radio show.
There's still
they're kind of sticking around, but like, everything's podcast now, right? Podcasts are the new cream of the crop.
Well, so what your goal is to get your podcast on the radio, because Sean Hannity still makes a fortune on the radio. Alex Jones still makes
but he was on
Alex
the radio
Jones is on
before
400
podcasts were
something.
ever a thing, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like I say, they're still around. Like the news channels are gone,
Like
but
Joe Rogan's not on the radio. He's on Spotify,
yeah,
and I don't even think he's on YouTube. I think he's only on Spotify.
He advertises through YouTube. So basically, yeah, he has all of his stuff on YouTube, but it's basically just advertising.
Sean Ryan, Candace Owens, you name it. They're
Right.
not on the radio. You can't turn the radio on and listen to them.
I think Levine is still on the radio. There's a few.
He was on the radio before podcasts.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You're talking about old timers are still
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying now.
Right. They're on the radio. But
Yeah.
me
Because
and
they're
you, our
established
generation,
there. No.
I mean, I don't even listen to the radio.
No, it's the 25-minute drive home. That's it.
Shit,
If I have
even
it on.
that, you're
If I put it
listening
on.
to Spotify or
I don't have
YouTube
I don't have Bluetooth in my old truck.
Me either. I got the little head because you can't talk on your phone anymore. If you
Yeah.
hold it, they'll pull you over, give you a ticket. So
Yeah.
now I have the earbud in, so I'm like, oh shoot, I'll just turn on a Spotify.
Yeah.
Because I can't listen to music. I fall asleep.
I just don't have music. So.
I had to listen to talking.
Right. Well, I
And
listen to
I
talk.
have to eat when I drive because I fall asleep at the wheel all the time.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
Oh yeah,
It's
I know.
ridiculous.
I remember those days.
It's like instant narcolepsy with me.
Yeah.
Like on the road, some always have sunflower seeds. Because
Yeah.
as long as I'm chewing and spitting, I won't fall asleep.
See, you don't have a way to jackjaw with, so it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get your dog. Get your dog sitting in your seat. Yeah.
I should get it like instead of an emotional support animal, it's like he keeps me awake. He's my stimulus dog.
This is a different kind of support dog. He keeps people
Stimulus
alive.
dog.
He keeps people all alive on the road. He barks real loud when I thought to nod off.
But starting a church, there's a group of people because me and my wife were talking about it, and we were going to that little Baptist church, you know.
I still haven't been there. I ain't know where it's at.
Oh,
You're not going there anymore? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's just I realized that I hate church. I keep asking myself, why do I keep going when I never want to go?
Well, that's why I stopped. When I dreaded going,
But why don't you like going? Like, what are the things you don't like?
Well, here's the thing. One, it's my attention span doesn't exist. That's on me. That's 100% on me. It's always been that. I mean, I literally am focused on what you say hardcore so I don't drift off and start writing something else in my head because that's how I live. But that's my whole life.
Like even like this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's my entire, like I said, I was the kid in class. This happened every day where we would be reading because a lot of times in class you used to, read, you'd have, the teacher to go through and you would read the book. Now they just watch YouTube videos in school and the AI teacher talks, but we would read pages and turn the pages, right? I would turn the pages and not know a single word coming out of anybody's mouth. Wouldn't read a single word. But I would turn the page. When they turn the page, my brain just said turn, it's subconscious would just,
Yeah.
And the teacher would be like, okay, your turn to read. And I'm like,
Where are we?
Literally. And they'd be like, boop, they'd point out with everything. And I'm like, thank you. That was every day of my life.
Can you read a book?
No.
Really? You can't read a book?
I can't read a book. I cannot read a book. So I will read the stuff that I have on Matthew and all, I'll spend 3 or 4 days just on one chapter because I'm gone. Second I get to the second line, I'm gone. So I've done things to try and figure it out and to try and do it. It's just an overactive, imagination. I started writing when I was in the 7th grade, full on movies. They're like 18 pages long. They're like crap. I almost flunked out of college because I was writing so much and none of it was schoolwork. I remember one time I was like, oh crap, I got a paper due in like 8 hours. And I'm writing, I bought a $3,000 laptop because that's what they cost at that time. And it was like top of the line, best. He's like, it had 256K memory, not gig. A gig didn't exist.
Yeah.
He's like, you'll never use this much memory,
Yeah.
And
pre-streaming, there was no such
oh
thing as
no,
streaming
that
back
is
then.
I had Grand Theft Auto 2 on it, and I was like, this is so cool, I was like, look what I could do, baby,
I played Doom.
But yeah, so I can't. I would write though, and so I would hammer.
So you can't pay attention.
Correct.
What else do you not like about church? Which explains a lot of our tangents that we go off on.
Yeah.
Because neither of us really have a really good attention span.
Yeah, you'll lose me in a heartbeat. So that was like when I was doing therapeutic counseling, and he actually put me in groups and he put me in one-on-ones and all. And I'm like, I'm 18 years old and I'm counseling married couples and old people and all. Yeah. And I'm like, you're freaking mind. And it was the job. I had to do it. And these people be rambling on about their life, and I'm just like, if I move that character and make that character do that, like that goes all whatever it was I was writing for that time frame. I had 20 screenplays sent to the WGA, which is the Writers Guild. They copyright them for you, basically, kind of a thing. Handfuls of them. They're all gone now because they only hold them for 10 years, and all the technology moves so fast that all the little discs are gone. And so, but so that was my life. And when I went to the church here, the pastor's good. He's he's doctorate level. And the reason I was impressed by him is because he's like 78, I think he was. Because, he has to be. And so, but he remembered my name. Yeah. I mean, I went there, shook hands with him, and 10 people in the church.
So he has a pornographic memory.
Half of them go up to the stage like for praise and worship, and I'm like, there's 2 people in the audience, What's the point, guys? Come on, whatever, But I was gone for a couple of weeks, came back, and he remembered my name. And I was like, that impressed me enough. I'm like, but he was good. He wasn't a terrible preacher.
Had a son named Adam.
It could have been, yeah. He's like, oh, I got this one now. But he got real, he kept between him and his wife getting sick, he just wasn't there. And so they would always have random preachers that were retired that he would call that he knew because they've been doing this since, the golden ages. And so I never really got to hear him preach more than maybe 2-3 times tops, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, getting down here, it's 45 seconds from my house. Getting down here, getting ready and all to sit here for an hour. And then the last church we were at, I was there for 2 years, maybe longer, 3. Yeah, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
I was there when the preacher before was there. And then the preacher that came in was, he was good because he was ambitious and he was new. He was a youth pastor. This was his first time pastoring. He'd been a youth pastor for like 15 years. I mean, he wasn't a young guy or anything like that, but he wasn't seasoned in any way, shape, or form. I intimidated him, I believe. And I didn't know. I mean, I was just like, you're an AG pastor. I figured, you had the degree and the papers and whatnot and all that. And he didn't have an education. He didn't have any of that. And I didn't know. I didn't care. Yeah. It didn't bother me at all. But I think when I was just talking with him and whatever, he had to dumb down for me, and like I ran sound for the guy for 2-3 years. I just sat in the sound booth and ran sound. If I wasn't running sound, I wouldn't have shown up.
Yeah, that's how it was in last church too. I ran sound for 3 years.
It just didn't.
That's how it was. I don't like church because it's boring. I don't like the people in it. And
I like the people at that last one. I didn't
was
get
full
a chance.
Of old funny people.
They were hilarious.
It's like a funny farm.
Because it was like
count that as church.
Half of them like, good Lord, I want a whiskey so bad. Let's hurry up.
There was more adult diapers than baby diapers in that church. Okay?
They were a fun group.
Oh, they were.
They're hilarious. We took them out shooting. We took them out
the farting alone was just enough to keep you entertained.
Dad had told me, he said that there's a special needs gentleman that's in his 40s that goes there. He's mid-40s. And he said you're just sitting there and you hear him rip one. And he starts laughing. And he just went on a train, man. He just kept going and laughing. And he says mom was just like beating him, like, stop it. And he's just dying. He thinks, and he's big. He's like Andre the Giant big. Like, he's just this monstrosity of a dude. And I can just imagine him just ripping him out. And he thought it was the funniest thing on the planet. He's just dying.
It is.
It is funny, yeah. Nobody cared. They all know him.
It's proof that God has a sense of humor. He's like, look what they're going to do. You see him eating that fruit, all that fruit there? Yeah, he's going to regret that later.
I'm going to make one sphincter that makes noise. There's one sphincter, and it's going to catch him off guard every time.
He's like, oh, crap. We should probably make their poop stink. Why? He keeps playing with it. Let's make it smell so bad.
Dad was like, everybody there was just like laughing, and then all the guys were like, oh, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole dressing up thing,
I'm behind it.
I understand it, and I appreciate it. Yeah. I can't afford it.
I mean,
I have one pair of blue jeans that are good, and I had a bunch of button-up shirts, but I outgrew them all.
Yeah,
because I got fat.
Yeah,
and so I
can't afford to buy new ones. Yeah,
but I mean, I can. I just have to make a sacrifice somewhere I'm not willing.
That
means I can't eat at Waffle House next week.
It's too hot and clammy here and all. The suit in the winter or summer. I mean, ugh.
Every day I get up at like 5 a.m. Like I wake up at
I
5.
do too.
I don't get out of bed till like 6:30, but
Oh, no,
I wake up at 5.
I get out at 5. Yeah, I'm up.
No, I don't even get up. But for some reason, when it's on a Sunday, I ain't waking up. Don't know why. And the other thing is, I don't even agree with going to church. Like, I agree with going to church any day that you want to. Whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, the seventh day is Saturday. And God, before there was ever such a thing as a Jew,
Right.
God said, don't work on the Sabbath.
Right.
Right? And we let the Catholic Church change that to Sunday. Well, screw you. I ain't doing it.
Well, I don't.
Screw the Catholic Church.
I 100% behind that. Yeah, but
So
I don't
Saturday
think God
is my
cares.
Sabbath day. Right? I don't work Saturday. But that means, and I agree with you. Jesus said Sabbath is for the man.
Yeah.
Man's not for the Sabbath.
Right.
But if you follow the Sabbath on Saturday, you will get a blessing. And it's really difficult to do. It is an actual sacrifice not to do anything on that day.
There's no way.
It's
I don't think.
difficult.
I think Jesus negated a lot of that. He was like, "Look, I know." Because think about it, in our world today, we do so much work in one day versus what it used to be back in the day. It's insane. So much work. Like, I mean, just because you have communication, you have speed. Like, I used to wait for parts. Now they're there the next day. Well, I'm sorry. In a good world, they are, not where I work, but. Like that kind of thing. Like last Friday, was it Friday? I don't know, whatever day it was. Monday, I'm working and the whole place is shut down. There's nobody there. It's just me and one other person. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to come in and do this. Well, Friday I had called up the maintenance guys and said, hey, I want to set up the day set up next week. I want you to, tell me what you have planned and what you want to get done. Cause I had a list of stuff for them to do. Cause I just need parts, stuff that I can't, I don't have access to buying the parts and stuff. Don't count us being there. We won't be there. Okay. Don't worry about that then. Fine. I'll take off the week. I'll work that one day that I had planned, which was the Monday. I'll, go through and clean up and do stuff or blah, blah. There's always something. There's always 1,000 things to do. Well, the dude shows up. One of the guys that I work with shows up. He's a great worker. Like of all the ones that are there, he's, the one that actually, he knows that he's working with people from Alabama. So it's like when he shows up, we replaced 6 sink faucets. Okay. When I'm talking about full reharness, we gutted the entire system, all new hose work, all new pipe work, everything, gutted the entire system, put all new faucets on these 6 big trough sinks. We removed all the electrical crap, put in these hand pump ones. They're phenomenal. 6 of them in like 2 hours. Okay. Then we went down, pulled, and I don't know if I've talked about this already. If I have, forgive me. I'm so excited about it. But we went down
I do.
And I had pulled a toilet that was spinning on me. And I was like, what the heck? These kids aren't they're big, but they're not that big. These 4th graders are monsters, we had replaced the flange in the toilet, and then I had bolted it down. The concrete, the building is so old, and the area was just so bad, the concrete had broke away. Like I said, some big boys sitting. There's a girl. It was the girl stall. Some big girl sitting on this thing, and so the toilet's basically spinning. For the most part. So the concrete had all just crumbled away from it. So I pulled the toilet and I pulled the flange out. And I was like, guys, we might need to re-pour concrete here. We have to chip all this concrete out or whatever. I said, come down, look at it, tell me what you want to do. I don't have a hammer drill or anything to drill deeper, to go deeper with studs or whatnot. And but he came down and he's like, you know what? I think we can tap this. We'll be okay. So we put like 4-inch tap screws in there, put a brand new toilet in. It was 11:30 by the time we were done. Where I'm at, it would take 2 weeks to do that much work. Like they don't pump, they don't hustle, they don't push, that kind of thing. It's just a different mentality, a different demeanor. It's just a whole different world like that we're in, Like
but
it's
Sabbath is still a rest day.
But we're.
Hey,
I guess I wasn't doing it on that.
God created the whole world in 5.
But
6
that
days.
was the day that we, would go to the old fart's house and put up stuff. Yesterday I was at somebody's house putting up cameras for them on their house. And
I'm not saying that it's something that's a written law that God's like, you have to do this. It was.
I believe it was absolutely 100% was. And if it's still, I feel that if it was still something that I felt. If I felt in my heart the Lord still wanted me to do, I had no problem turning my phone off. Not a deal.
Well, you'd be surprised how hard it is. It's really hard not to do anything because think about all the stuff you have to do at home. Laundry, like I got kids, so it's just the house always a wreck. Dishes, cooking is work.
I'm clockwork.
You have a big old family.
I have a schedule in my brain of stuff that I do, and like when we went to go take care of that thing, we went to go build that greenhouse. I was like, oh, I didn't get any of that stuff done that I would normally do because we try to take off early. But I was like, it wasn't a big deal because I was off this week, so it wasn't a thing. So I was like, I was cool with it. I could handle
Your
it.
brain handled it.
But literally, I'm not going anywhere until that laundry's done, that dishwasher's filled and running, and the sink is, like that's my clockwork. But I can do that kind of concept. So, and that's my Saturday. That's the day that, and the lawn will be added to it in the next month or week.
Imagine not doing any work on Saturday. You don't do any work, right? You just rest, right?
So should we hold on to the Sabbath?
That gives you Sunday to do your work. That's the first day of the week.
In our childhood,
but if
though,
you go to church,
correct,
half your day's gone.
Yeah. But in a Sabbath, you would have gone to the church service too, though.
Yeah. But they
So
did.
you
They
would have
still
done
went to. The disciples went to church, went to temple on Saturday, right? They went to temple.
Mm-hmm.
But you went there early in the morning. They read from the scroll. They sang a couple of hymns and they left.
Correct.
Right?
Which I wish church would go back to.
So they weren't welcome in the temple because they believed that Jesus was the Messiah. So they held church, house church, on the first day of the week, Sunday. So the disciples called it the day of the Lord. The day of the Lord is...
That is correct.
Yeah, it's Sunday. So, but...
That was the day of the Lord,
They still rested on Sabbath.
I see what you're saying. You're not talking about honoring the Sabbath in the sense of it being your day of worship outside of just keeping it holy.
Right, yeah, it's a day of
and
no
that's
work.
a day of not working, not doing anything.
You set it aside for the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
It's your weekly sacrifice.
It's your 10% of the week concept kind of a deal.
You're supposed to sit with your family. Like according to the Old Testament and the writings in the Old Testament, is the Sabbath was meant to reflect on the work of your hands,
toil,
the work of the Lord's hands, and the blessings of being with the family. And that was keeping it holy. It was being together and contemplating the things that you've done this week and the things that God's done this week and things that God's done in the past. And then rejoice in the fact that you have work.
And they did nothing. Man, they couldn't. I was told about how they used to walk way back in the day and how they would do stuff.
That was the oral tradition. That wasn't Levitical tradition. Like it wasn't like written in law. That it was literally something they added. Like, well, what do you consider work?
Yeah,
is going for a hike work? Okay, well, you can't go past your boundary of your property. Well, some people's property is bigger than others.
Okay, so...
And if you brought a sheep with you, that's part of your property.
This kind of coincides again with should you be eating, certain foods and stuff too.
Yeah.
Was that negated, whatnot, which I do believe Scripture did.
But I'm not a Jew.
Sticking with... Correct, well, and there's that too. But sticking with the idea of the Sabbath.
Yeah. Sabbath came before Judaism was ever a thing.
Yeah, that was day one. Oh, not day one, but that was at the end of the week. That
Adam and Eve in the garden. You don't work on...
Well, no, it was basically the day that God took off after creation.
Yeah.
Was the start of it in the sense of he was setting that example. Yeah. So yes.
But he's telling Adam, you tend my garden.
Yes.
But on this day, you don't. This day you rest.
Yeah.
And that's where it all started.
Well, I mean, the tradition of... And I'm looking at kind of our culture and what we're... The tradition of America was most people had Saturday off. A lot of businesses were closed on Sundays. Almost all businesses, maybe a gas station or a convenience store might have been open, but pretty much everything was closed on a Sunday. Like you knew you got to get your supplies and stuff Saturday because, but again, that was also a day that enables you to take care of that stuff. So by keeping your Saturday free, you're able to resupply your foods, go get stuff done. Now, of course, we tie it up with sports games and kids' events and crap like that.
Yeah.
Which is like why I have worked every Saturday of my life for the Army for 15 years, because that was just it. If my staff were there, I was there, that kind of concept. But, so I can see how that, I'm trying to think, my brain is scrambling to see if I can remember any kind of scripture where the Lord, where Jesus Christ was saying that it's, it's negated, not negated, but, it's for... Because it wasn't for Jews, like you say. It was not. It was for man.
Yeah, well, Jesus made it a point where...
I'm trying to think.
Because they said, how come it's Sabbath and you're doing this work? Yeah, he's healing people.
Yeah.
And you're walking from town to town.
Mm-hmm. And they're picking food and eating, yeah.
He's like, how come you don't obey Sabbath? And he goes, don't you know that the Sabbath is for the man and not man for the Sabbath?
Correct.
Nothing you do will make the Sabbath more holy, right? The Sabbath is holy. It's
The Sabbath is for you
to rest. Now, if you can't rest, like let's say for instance, your car is broken and you have to have it fixed by Monday, you're not going to wait till Sunday.
Correct.
That's not responsible.
Yeah.
You're not being a good steward of what God gave you.
Yeah, you need to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why everyone is led by the Spirit. But if you're unwilling to give something up for the Lord, you should give it up for the Lord, right? And I take that, for instance, like Christmas. If you tell somebody, and this happened to me multiple times, I'm like, have you ever thought about just not celebrating Christmas this year? Like, I can't do that. Like, why not? I love my lights. You love your lights.
I have never not heard that, though.
Yeah, I love my lights. I gotta have my Christmas tree. I gotta have this.
I've never not heard that.
Talked to a guy. I was like, why don't you fast? Because you're talking about fasting, and he's like, I really can't fast food. I'm having a hard time fasting food. I'm like, don't do food. It's like, do your time. He goes, time? I was like, yeah. Don't watch college football. Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
He got visibly upset.
Yeah.
And I said, why not? I was like, why can't you sacrifice? The Lord sacrificed so much for you. Why can't you sacrifice watching?
Give up one game.
Yeah. I was like, just don't watch college football for a month. He goes, Jesus loves me more than to ask me to do
there
that.
you go.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I know. And again, that's where you go awesome and you walk away. You have to walk away.
And
You're not going to convince stupid.
I was like, that's fine. You asked me.
Correct.
I told you I'm done. But Saturday, same way. I'm not saying that you have to keep the Sabbath every single Saturday and never ever work and that it's law. God demands it.
Man, I hate mowing the lawn on Saturday. I'm like, the lawn.
But take 1 month and don't do anything on those Saturdays and just see how difficult it really is.
Yeah.
To do nothing.
Well, like today.
Unless you're in Italy and you're Italian, because they make an art of doing nothing.
Yeah, you only work 11 days a year. Yeah.
Every day is Sabbath.
Yeah. Like today I was working on that coffee table I'm making for outside. I got a piece of Firebox Elder that I hand planed it. When I was looking at that $500 revolver, I was like, that's a hand plane. And I really need a hand plane because the Stanley garbage that I thought I was buying, Stanley used to make decent stuff. Of course, they don't anymore. They haven't for years. But I bought what I thought were like mid-grade Stanley hand planes and it would get me going. And Jesus have mercy, have they been a nightmare for 1,000 reasons. If I ever did an evaluation of those publicly, people would be very mad at me. Or glad that I didn't. But anyway, or that I did them. But so I did more damage to the wood than should have, so to speak.
I hate woodworking.
Well, it was.
I hate wood.
It was I sanded the edges of the plane because they'll scar, but I didn't sand them enough. Like I had sanded them wherever, and I was like, okay, after a while you're just done sanding metal, so to speak, kind of thing. And I'm like, they feel good, they feel fine, but box elder is a very soft wood. And so there's just rows. The wood came up. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
The only thing I like doing in woodworking is sanding. For some reason, I love to sand.
Well, I needed you a couple hours ago. Where were you? Because that's what I wheeled my bench. I put my bench on wheels so I can wheel it outside. And I was just palm sanding with a cigar in my mouth. Like, okay,
yeah,
this is gonna happen one way or another, But it needs more work because it's a live edge. It needs a lot more work, and it's a different type. It's a smaller one. It's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I love just putting in the podcast, put plugs in my ears, and just.
Oh, I was listening.
Out paper.
Yep. I was listening to music, or not music, but I was listening to I don't remember who it was at the time. That's the slab without any finish on it, and so it's
cool.
I can actually drop that so people are like, well, what is he doing?
The other thing I don't like about church.
Yeah, keep going on about why we hate church.
Is, so, my wife's a singer, right?
Yeah.
So, and this happens in every single church we go to. We're sitting in the I don't know. What do you call it? Congregation. We're sitting there in the pews. They have their worship music going. They have their worship leader doing their thing. What are all those things?
That's bugs.
Bugs? Like actual bugs?
Bugs that live in trees, yeah. I don't have a...
Are they still in there, or is that just what they've done?
I want to say yes. There's probably some still in there because they can live in there for a very long time.
So how do you fix that?
You have to kiln dry it. These are air dried for years. This is like a 7-year air dry.
Okay.
I can't get a copy tool. to do this. Here it is down here, I guess. So they could be, but also the reason I moved. So I have a wood shop in the back. Beautiful, beautiful wood shop.
You mean like termites?
Well, their termites are in the wood shop, I discovered. So I moved all my lumber out. I don't think this is termites because I didn't see any sand piles around it. Right. When trees naturally just have bugs living in them. Okay. A lot of times this is a seller. Like if you get something with all these little bug deals in them, people like it. It's cool. It's different. However, there weren't this many in there when I bought this 2 years ago.
Oh, I got you.
So I'm like, okay, there's more. There's got to be more in there. And they could still very well be living in there. But you can see, this might be the wrong side. I bet, yeah. So you can see like lines right here. And that's from the hand plane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the hand plane just cut grooves. And I've been sanding them down. Oh, that's not one. That's not straight. There'll be straight lines like that, though, all throughout this thing. And not all throughout, because I stopped when I realized how bad it was. I was flattening it with the hand planes, and it was doing great. This used to be just almost black. It was, it was pretty. It's been sitting for a long time. It's very old. He had it for 4 years. He dries his stuff for 4 to 7 years before he sells it, and he had this one for about 4 years. So I held on to it, so I'll dry it out for a couple more years. And then I got to put a bow tie here, and then a bow tie on the down here. There's a crack. I think it's on this side right here. I got to put a bow tie there.
I hate woodworking.
Splitting. But
give me some metal, a welding rod.
Well, you can make legs for it if you want, because I would love that. I had pipes that I was going to use for legs.
I don't have a welder anymore or a torch.
Oh, I got rid of mine. Yeah.
Or metal.
I wish I still had.
I don't really have any of the
nothing to start with on that. Yeah.
But my wife will sing in the congregation.
Yep.
And everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you're amazing! You come sing with us. You come sing on it," because everyone's dying for her to get on the stage. Because it's hard to find musicians nowadays. It's hard to find singers. It's hard to find people who are willing to teach or whatnot in the church.
Yeah.
So reluctantly, after time, they'll convince her to go up on the stage, and then she'll start singing, and inevitably, the just absolute jealousy ensues, and the women will backbite,
church
gossip. Yeah,
that's what the pastor has to deal with.
The other thing is there's multiple affairs.
Yes.
Nobody calls these people out.
No, absolutely not.
There's no one doing anything biblically, because you're supposed to bring them before the church and say what you've done is a sin.
You're supposed to talk to them behind.
Confess it.
You talk to them quietly.
Yeah.
If it isn't fixed, then you bring it up to the 3 phases.
Yeah. You
might as well skip to the last one in today's era.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's all over Facebook.
Harlot.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
It's always the woman. It's always the woman we start with for some reason.
Well, you can't blame a guy; he's a moron. Men are stupid.
Lady, you knew what you were doing. Yeah. You knew how dumb he was.
Yeah. So it's just the church isn't doing what the church in the Bible says to do.
Correct.
Yeah. And so I'm done with that. I'm just kind of like, and it's church after church after church I keep going to. I see the same thing. Weak leadership. And man, gosh, the lack of discernment in churches is unfathomable to me.
Really? You don't think Leather Pants Lady knows that when she asks for $100,000 before she's willing to pray for people?
It's like the lack of discernment is just unreal. Yeah. But I can understand the congregation not knowing, because everyone's new at some point in time. And they don't know everything what the Bible says. They're new Christians, whatever.
I'm behind that.
And there's a lot of people who've been in church their whole lives and they've never read the Bible. They have no idea what it says.
I'm not behind that.
I mean,
it happens. It happens and exists. Something like that. Yeah.
So it's up to the shepherd of the flock to discern whether somebody should be shepherding or not. Right? You have some kind of oversight. There's elders. There's deacons. And then you have the pastor himself, and then you have his pastor. What do you call them? People who are above the pastor, overseers. You have overseers, and overseers have a very strict guideline in the Bible of what constitutes an overseer. Mm-hmm. So you got, how's Paula Dean? Is that her name? Not Paula Dean. What's her name? Paula White. How in the world does she get into a church saying, "I'm not going to pray for anybody until I get $100,000"?
Because
how did nobody throw a rock at her? That'd be one girl I'd say, let's take her out and stone her.
How is it
Let's see if God protects her from this rock. I'll give you $100,000 if I don't kill you.
I don't see how people just didn't walk out. Like, I mean, I'd be like, okay, y'all are dumb.
Yeah.
Y'all are being deceived and lied to. White microphone lady does not care. Walk away.
Again, prophesied. prophesied in Daniel, prophesied in Matthew.
Now, here's the thing. And so for people who are here and people who are watching, a lot of times you will see people who are by these false prophecies, so speakers, the televangelists, people who are making money and announcing their worlds and giving you their QR codes to donate and kind of garbage.
God does not need your money.
Yeah, the people that are there who are completely innocent in all this and just think, like you said, the guy who was like, how much did that cost you? How much did you have to pay for to get healed? That kind of thing, Yeah. Those kind of innocent people, they will receive a blessing from God given circumstances on the Lord. The Lord will know. He'll know your heart. He'll know who you are because they are truly seeking God. Just because a false person is preaching to you. So it's like when people are saying, well, but, Lord, we use your name, or we cast out demons in your name. They'll say to me, Lord,
healed
Lord.
the sick. We cast out demons.
People will be healed because
I never knew you.
They're seeking the Lord, and the Lord will heal that person. They're not going to use that person for it. They're going to look at the heart of the person who's asking for it, and they will work through that person. And it's just, and hopefully that person is no longer deceived in that mindset. So yes, people will be healed in that. So you'll see a lot of fake stuff that you won't know it's fake. I've Benny Hinn back in the day, a friend of mine who is a high, and I've shared this one too. She, went up in the hotel room and discovered they had all the casts and wheelchairs up there. All the crutches were leaning in the hallways, that kind of thing. He had a whole crew of fake people who would just dance around actors and kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that. And of course, all the churches that, wingers, saying, hey, this is how they did it kind of concept. But those people who are earnestly seeking the Lord and seeking, whatever it is that they're hoping for from the Lord. Like I believe Todd White healed people through prayer of the person who was standing there saying, "Okay, Lord, I need this prayer," or whatever kind of thing.
I have no doubt that even Todd White has the faith that God heals because he's seen it happen. It's not saying he's a good man.
That's true. He probably lost. Yeah, he probably just lost the concept of, oh, hey, I can make money this way. And
I think he really views it as, oh, I'm doing the right thing. God's blessing me. I think it's a delusion.
Yeah, it could be. Delusion. There you go. Yeah, it could be absolutely that. Okay, it's like I say, because he knows he's hurting a ton of people, like all the people who've left his church and all the people. But yeah, he
sees it as a slight oversight.
If it's a shielded, if he's dumb to it, or if the Lord is willing, making him willingly stupid.
But they're all that way. Like Ron.
There's so many.
Ron.
You could go for hours.
Jesse Duplantis, all them. I believe they have a spirit of delusion that God's let them be cast over. Because they love money, and they love that, and they think God's blessing them. Look, I'm doing the right thing because this guy just threw $5,000 on my lawn. That was one of his testimonies from Jesse Duplantis. He has a 9,000 square foot house in Louisiana. It's 5 stories. It has a fence, big 9-foot tall fence all the way around it, and he's bragging about this during his preaching to this sermon.
Because the Lord gave it to me, prosperity preaching.
Yeah, yep. And he said, and a man. He said, I just was outside in my robe, drinking my coffee, getting my paper, and a man stopped his car, and he threw a brick of $100 bills and waved at me and got in his car and left. And I put out, he said it was $5,000. He's like, that's just what God does. When you do what you're supposed to be doing, this is what God does for you. I'm just sitting there like, and nobody threw a rock at him. It's like, how did nobody test his faith by punching him in the face?
Throw a brick at him and be like, hey, tape that $5,000 to that and throw it back at me, buddy.
Yeah. But I'm like,
that's the first. Well, see, that's what I would have done. I'd be like, what'd you do with the $5,000?
Why do you have that house?
Oh, yeah. That would, because I forgot about that.
Why do you have a 9,000 square foot house?
You did mention that, didn't you?
Yeah. Hey, why do you have a compound?
Well, it's funny because I saw Joel Osteen's house. Joel Osteen has lost half of his congregation.
Really?
Half of his congregation is gone.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
It was a football stadium.
It was a basketball stadium that they bought. Yeah, and they spent some $100 million, $105 million fixing it up and all that. Yeah. He's lost half of his congregation. They have, and they're gone. Like they have completely. Yeah, and I think they've just seen through it, and and kind of revealed to it. And I think also that big storm that happened, the big hurricane storm, whatever that came through,
floods.
and he wouldn't open up his church because they just redone the carpets.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he justified it through that. We just had our carpets redone. I don't want all that muddy carpet feet. And then I saw some deal on it, and they were talking about in the same town, there's a guy who owned a massive furniture store, big, huge, like a Mattress King kind of a deal. He opened his doors up and said, everybody get in here. I don't care, sleep on these couches, chairs, beds, doesn't matter, whatever.
Yeah.
So everybody came in. He said, "No, I'll find a way to feed you." And he's feeding all these people, like 1,000 people are coming into his store.
Real Christian.
Kind of deal. Yeah, solid man, And he's like right in the same neighborhood kind of concept. And so yeah, and I think that was a big eye opener for him. But he's
these people.
Of course, he's not hurting for money.
If you take a small country like, I always say Madagascar because it always comes to mind. It's a small country. It's an island off of Africa. Small. But the amount of money that one of these churches makes could revolutionize that whole country.
Yeah.
For God. Yeah. And I don't mean like bring infrastructure there. I mean just preach the gospel. Yeah. And watch God work.
Well, that's why Doofus needs a third plane. They're gonna fly to another location to preach.
Yeah, it's obscene. But again, everyone is called to be a church. Me and you right now are a church.
Right.
You don't.
Where 2 or 3 are gathered together concept, yeah.
And there's no such thing as I'm not called to do this or I'm not called
to do
that.
I know everybody's called. I'm 100% behind that. I know the scripture on that one. I do. Everybody is called.
And you're never going to do everything right.
But I think that's missionary-based type work. I don't know that that's really... Because the thing is so many people get into that church pulpit concept, get behind that chair, and in 6 months they're like, God, I hate this.
Oh, yeah.
Like we went to school with them. All the pastors that graduated, those
I don't know
kids,
a single pastor who enjoys it.
I've met a few. I've met a few who love every second.
It's a life of sacrifice.
Right.
Because especially if you have kids,
that's why
your kids come second.
If you're called, it's not. And that's a big deal. And I always had that thing, I was like, if you have anything out there. And that was one of the questions. I watched a video the other day because I don't know anything about a female preacher. I've had female preachers who've come in who were prophetic preachers, phenomenal speaker. Mm-hmm. This woman blew my mind away. She was brilliant, and she was 100% led by the Lord.
How much did she charge you?
And her husband was like, she's like, y'all, my husband talks to me and tells me, or my husband's talking to me and telling me, you speak tongue in your sleep, woman. Like, go sleep in the other room. I'm trying to get to bed. I'm trying to sleep. This woman was just wonderful, wonderful speaker. She had great, experiences and stuff like that. And when I'm like, you could just kind of feel, you can tell. And she just came in. She was part of I think the AG had signed her up for a bunch of churches in the area, and she just came, preached, and took off. And I think she did 2 services and left, and she went on to the next church. The way you're supposed to, But I don't care about women preachers, but I don't know where I stand on a woman pastor of a church who has children because of what you just said. The woman is the nurturer of the home, runs the home, takes care of the home, makes the home solid, and takes care of the children. That's their main. Kids don't come in the front door and want to see the dad. They're like, "Where's mom?" I don't give a. If a kid's sick, are they like, "Where's dad at?" Screw that. They're like, "Where's mom?" Kids don't. And so that was kind of one of the things that I was thinking about, and that's really my main question is who's running your home if you're the pastor? Because here's the thing. If you're a female pastor and you get that call at 9 p.m. for that suicidal person, because we've seen that 100,000 times, is she going out? Well, I got my kids to put to bed.
Okay, well, there's...
So that's my question there. That's the only real main thing that I see with it.
2 things that I can think of, just off the top of my head, of course. 1, if a man's not willing to step up, God will call a woman.
Oh, absolutely. And do it. Do it. Yeah. Yes, do it.
Woman pastor, sure, I don't care.
Yeah. And it's not that I'm not willing.
It's difficult to subject yourself under a woman, though, as far as authority. Like if she's in charge of men.
Yeah, but, that could be a big hurdle.
No one's making them do it. You volunteer for it.
That's true too.
Just don't do it. How about that?
Yeah.
I don't want to. Okay, don't go there. I don't care.
I've just seen.
You can't fake an anointing.
I've seen the battle that women have had that was unnecessary at times. I'm like, why are you bringing that up? Nobody brought that up. Okay, this is you.
Yeah.
And that's but that could be anybody in an idea.
You're
right. Yeah.
The second thing is one of Jesus' most difficult teachings that he gave was part of the Beatitudes. He said, if you don't hate your father and your mother, you can't follow me. If you don't hate your children, you can't follow me. And that's basically what that means. You're going to get that phone call.
Right. You're going to have to be able to walk away and make him first.
God the Father comes first.
Right. And I don't know. I just don't. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I think that would be kind of a struggle for a woman. That's why because
PK kids are so messed up all the time.
Yeah. They are the most jacked up things on the planet.
Usually.
There needs to be like a whole therapy world just for PK kids.
But at the same time, there's a balance. And it's just like anything else. If you're really bad with management, time management, people management, you're going to neglect your kids as a pastor.
Right.
But if you are good with your schedule, you are good with time management, and you have appropriate leaders underneath you who are qualified, you've trained them up in the way they should go as well, you don't have to answer every phone call. So-and-so is sick. You have elders and deacons in the church whose job is because the pastor comes and goes. Pastor does a stint here, and God calls him to another church.
Yeah, okay, I see it on that.
Who holds it all
training
together?
Them up,
deacons and elders hold it together. They stay.
In our world, deacons can only run for twice?
That's
just stupidity on that end. I know we've argued about that for days to the point where it doesn't matter.
That's not in the Bible anywhere. That's just
it's just their deal.
And that's meant for a large church because if you have the same deacons over and over, nobody else learns it. Okay, and then you're not growing. It's like the whole point of the church is to grow and spread like a virus.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's just like
spread like Islam.
Yeah.
Just without your boot over their neck.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And don't marry their children.
Yeah, don't marry children.
So if you have a deacon who's very popular, everybody loves him, he's great at his job, he should be training other people to be just like him.
Yeah.
Let me show you how you do this. Pair him up with a young, fresh, new deacon. Somebody brand new and say, let me show you how this works. Let me show you how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's how that should be. It's not like, oh, he's already done his time, he can't ever go again. Nah, that's not how it's supposed to be. But you're supposed to be growing. And if your church gets to that point where it's like, okay, we've maxed out the capacity of this church, don't add on to the church. Don't buy a new church. Start a new church.
Don't grow the size of seats in your church.
Yeah, just go to another location and start. And the people that and Francis Chan has been like the king of this. Like, he's amazing at creating leaders and starting new churches.
Really?
Yeah, Francis Chan had his huge church that he stepped away from.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't.
Is he still working in China?
I have no idea. But he preached this all the time. He's like, if you are a pastor, you should be training up people underneath you to become pastors.
Right. You should be building other churches.
Deacons should be building deacons. Elders should be creating elders.
Yeah, you should have sister churches for days. Yeah.
So if you are good with people management, which is training those, and you're good with time management, which means you set time for your family, a pastor won't have a hard time. And there's a ton of self-help books on how to do time management.
I know that there's been pastors that have. The last church we were at, their children's pastor left to go start a church. Or take over a church. That guy was creepy as all get out. But either way, he's a pastor now, so he can be creepier with authority. He's creepy with the keys now. So,
creepy with the keys.
So I'm thinking, what churches have we been at that have actually sistered other churches?
Oak Cliff Assembly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Oak Cliff.
That church is amazing.
Because I was thinking, back in the day, that's where I even learned the concept of it, because they were, and there was multiple churches that they had people that were working for them or under them or whatever that were going out, and they were mentoring them, helping them out, sticking with them, so to speak, and they would carry them through stuff and get them until they could kind of say, okay, cool, man, and they'd just be a family.
That Reformed Baptist church I was telling you about earlier, that only you just can't become a member.
Right.
Yeah, they have a 200 person capacity, and after that they start another church.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they do everything by the Bible. That's what the Bible says to do.
Yeah.
They don't.
Baptists do like to follow Scripture pretty tight to cliff, which is awesome.
Yeah, for the most part.
And unless there's a few.
There's always some fringe stuff, and there's a lot of different kinds of Baptists too. So there's missionary, free will. There's all kinds.
Well,
it's kind of like Pentecostals. There's all kinds. So with that being said, I don't really care for church too much.
I don't know if I'm looking to start one.
I'm not looking to start one either. But
if I'm called to do so, I'll never turn that down.
You already are.
No, I mean like when it throws. Okay, this is the one I want you to take over kind of concept. If I'm driving down the road and a brick flies through, or no, if I'm standing mowing my yard and a brick goes, I'm waiting for that brick of $5,000 to come flying so Lord can talk to me properly.
You bought my attention.
Yeah. All right, Lord, you paid for a year of labor from me. I'll do it. That's fine. All right, we've wasted your time enough. Well, thank you for stopping by on this one. I appreciate you coming by, and we'll see you next time.